WahYantee Ka Khalsa, WahYantee Ki Fateh. Gurdas Singh here with a rebuttal to Harijot Khalsa, who's the SikhNet social media director. Now, Harijot Khalsa has made an outrageous statement that Patanjali, who is a Hindu pundit, lived about 2,000 years ago and wrote the Yoga Sutras, should be considered as a Gurmukh, and his writings could be considered as Gurbani. Now, Harijot Khalsa has based his assertion on the fact that Bhai Gurdas in his Vaars has referred to Patanjali. Now, Harijot has found a translation of Bhai Gurdas Vaars which say that Patanjali is a Gurmukh. Now, I dispute this. I found some other translations which refer to Patanjali as only a sage. So that's my first point. While I'm giving my narrative here, you can read some of Harijot's comments. Here's another one here that he made. Now, this all came up because Sikhs are concerned about the WahYantee Hindu mantra, which the Yogi Bhajan people chant every morning during the Amrit Vela. And this was prescribed by Yogi Bhajan many years ago for all Sikhs and non-Sikhs to chant in the Amrit Vela. And so, as Sikhs, we all know that the Amrit Vela is usually reserved for the 5 Banis and doing Nam Simran. But Yogi Bhajan has prescribed this WahYantee mantra, which is historically come from Patanjali, this Hindu pundit. And so the Yogi Bhajan people chant this every morning, and they've been doing it for, it's been probably 20 years now, every morning. So Harijot has tried to find Gurbani which justifies their Yogi Bhajan, Tantric, and Kundalini Yoga agenda. Now, I'm here in this video to show you why this WahYantee mantra and Patanjali's writings have no place in Sikhi. The first reference I want to use is to Dr. Trilochan Singh's book, which you may have all seen or read, and it's called Sikhism and Tantric Yoga. Now, Dr. Trilochan Singh goes into extensive description and research about why Yogi Bhajan is wrong in his interpretation of Gurbani about how yoga is part of Sikhi. What Yogi Bhajan does, and what the 3HO people do now, is whenever they see the word yoga, they assume it is these yoga asanas of Yogi Bhajan. But the word yoga only means union, and union with God. So the Yogi Bhajan people mistranslate and misinterpret Gurbani and Bhai Gurdasji's writings to twist their to twist them and make them into their philosophy so that it supports their philosophy of doing this Tantric and Kundalini Yoga. So here's just a real quick segment from Dr. Trilochan Singh's book. He says here, it is in this context, Bhai Gurdas says that a Gurmukh, an enlightened Sikh, is a real pundit, a scholar, and correctly gives divine knowledge to the world. In the following verses, Bhai Gurdas, whose writings are considered key to Adi Granth, makes it clear that sincere and practicing Sikhs alone are awakened and illumined yogis, and their technique is not the absurd asanas and pranayama taught by Yogi Bhajan, but the one and only moral and spiritual discipline of Sikh path and spiritual living through contemplation of his name. So the yoga that is referred to by Gurdas and by the Sikh Gurus and in Gurbani is not the absurd asanas and the Tantric yoga of Yogi Bhajan, but it is the devotional contemplation of God's name. That is yoga. That is the union. That is the Gurmukh Yoga, in other words. That's why I named my website Gurmukh Yoga, because the contemplation on God's name, the devotional service to Waheguru, that's the true yoga. Let's go on here to look at it a little bit more. You can read these Vaars by Gurdas that Dr. Trilochan Singh has put in here, and they support this idea that Yogi Bhajan's Tantric Kundalini Yoga has no place in Sikhi, and completely refutes this Harijot's assertion that Patanjali was some kind of Gurmukh and that he was his writings were part of Gurbani. It's just a really outrageous statement. Says here, Dr. Trilochan Singh says, Yogi Bhajan's theorists of Kundalini and Guru Yoga, on finding the word yoga used in Guru Nanak's hymns in a number of different contexts, jump to the untenable and incorrect conclusion that Guru Nanak's teachings are in perfect accord with the Tantric yoga taught by their master, Mahan Tantric Yogi Bhajan. The third type of hymns in which the word yoga is mentioned are those which sum up the debates the Guru held with yogis of various centers. It may be noted that Guru Nanak visited all the centers of yogis throughout India, not only convinced them of the error of their yoga system, but under his influence, most of them gave up yoga practices. Bhai Gurdas tells us that Guru Nanak met all yogis, siddhas, and those who claimed to be avatars of ancient yogis, and through debate and spiritual influence, he scored victory over them and made them submit to his ideology. Not only that, Guru Nanak also made Babar and his ministers to submit to his moral and spiritual sovereignty. Thus, the third type of hymn in which the term yoga is used are those in which various systems and doctrines are severely criticized by the Gurus. We shall be quoting such hymns throughout the book and shall bring out sharp differences between the various yoga cults and Sikhism, as authenticated by Guru Granth Sahib and Sikh history. As will be shown subsequently, the word yogi is used in Sikh scriptures even for God and the Guru, and this does not mean that God and the Gurus practice the absurd asanas now taught by Yogi Bhajan and shown in some of the pictures published in this book. All right, so I encourage you all to download this book. It can be found on my website, gurmukhyoga.com, and it's called Sikhism and Tantric Yoga, and I'll put some links to it here in the description to this video. There it is, Sikhism and Tantric Yoga. Now that we have established how Yogi Bhajan and this Harijot Singh, these people from SikhNet, are twisting Gurbani in order to fit their Tantric and Kundalini Yoga agenda, let's see how this is manifested in some of the pictures that I've gathered over the years. Now, first of all, you'll see here, this is a group of the SikhNet people. You'll see Harijot Singh also has made this absurd and outrageous statement about Patanjali and how his writings could be part of Gurbani. This is Gurmukh Singh, who actually, I put the cursor on him there, actually keeps Yogi Bhajan's fingernails in his nitnam. This is Gurmukh Singh here, who's the director over there at SikhNet. And then this is Jagraj Singh, who recently went there to visit the SikhNet people, but he refused to criticize any of their un-Sikh-like practices. And you've probably seen some of the videos I've done about that. Now, here is how SikhNet has described Harijot Singh. And you can see here he is in fact one of the directors over there, and he does social media, and you can see he's actually part of that there. So he is involved in promoting this agenda of Yogi Bhajan's Tantric and Kundalini Yoga. And there you can see him. He has a twin brother. His name is Harijot Singh, and you can see them there practicing some yoga asanas in the Darbar of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, in the presence of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. It's really outrageous. And I also pictured this Harijot Singh when he was leading some dancing there in the Darbar of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji at this summer solstice. You may have seen that video that I published about a couple months ago when they did this in June at their summer solstice. Now here's another photo. Harijot Singh is playing some kind of mantras or kirtan, and they're doing some outrageous thing to this girl. I'm not sure what is going on here. You can see Harijot Singh is in that orange turban. So these are all practices that are un-Sikh-like, and that this Harijot Singh from SikhNet participates in. Now, this is where they worship Yogi Bhajan at his death place, and you can see them performing some kind of Yogi Bhajan chanting. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing here, but it's some kind of Yogi Bhajan chanting at his birthday or at celebration of Yogi Bhajan's life at his death place. And that's Harijot Singh playing the tablas there. And you can see this golden idol of Baba Sirishan there, which looms over it, and they're all sitting there worshiping there at Yogi Bhajan's death place. Now, this was a photo that shows Harijot with this Yogi Amandeep Singh. Now, you can see Harijot in the background there, just behind Yogi Amandeep Singh. They're performing some kind of, what looks like some kind of fire puja. And this Yogi Amandeep Singh is into this Sanatan Dharma, which is kind of a worship of Baba Sirishan and some of these other Sanatan Hindu practices, Hindu Vata practices. And Harijot Singh from SikhNet is quite involved with this Yogi Amandeep Singh. I'll show you more about their un-Sikh-like practices. This was a picture that I found on the internet, and with a comment from one of the Yogi Bhajan followers, which was pretty disturbing, how on a yatra that she was on with this Yogi Amandeep Singh, they were doing some kind of puja at the Ganga River, and it says here, Arti ceremony in Mahaganga and Dharma vows. And I'd really like to know more about what they were up to there. Yogi Amandeep Singh has deleted all of his pictures that show anything to do with his Sanatan practices and off his social media. But these innocent yoga students who go there, sometimes they put these pictures up just in their naivety and innocence. They've now been taken down, and I'm sure Yogi Amandeep Singh has told them to take them down because he doesn't want to show regular Sikhs what they're all into. And keep in mind that the SikhNet people support this Yogi Amandeep Singh. This Harijot Singh, who's the social media director over there, supports this Yogi Amandeep Singh and participates in his yatras. He was on a yatra with this Yogi Amandeep Singh and doing some of these same pujas and worship of Baba Sirishan and these Sanatan Hindu practices. So you can see there a closer picture of them worshiping at the Ganga and doing these, what they call Dharma vows. And again, we need to find out more about what that was about. There's this Yogi Amandeep Singh preparing this puja on the Ganga. And it says here in the caption from this innocent yoga student, Arti ceremony in Hotel Alia in Haridwar with Yogi Amandeep after Yogi Bhajan birthday celebration. There you can see a close-up again of it, of Yogi Amandeep Singh. And again, Yogi Amandeep Singh is promoted by SikhNet. You can see here's the SikhNet page promoting him. He's described as a Kundalini Yoga teacher who travels around the world and preaches, does this prachar of Yogi Bhajan's philosophy and cult. Here is Yogi Amandeep Singh worshipping doing some puja with that picture there of Baba Siri Chand there in the background. These are all Hindu Vata practices. And he takes these groups of innocent yoga students over there, and you can see there in the background there's a cage or whatever with an idol of Baba Siri Chand in there. And so they're worshiping there at this Baba Siri Chand place. And then here you can see the Yogi Bhajan devotees bowing to this idol of Baba Siri Chand. This is right there by SikhNet headquarters. It's literally about 10 meters away. And again, you can see the Yogi Bhajan people worshiping there in Espanola. They're right near the SikhNet headquarters, this Baba Siri Chand. Now, Yogi Amandeep Singh is not the only one that practices these Hindu Vata practices. They're in the Yogi Bhajan group, and this Gurmukh, she is supported by SikhNet, and she does a lot of these pujas, and you can see this article that was published by SikhNet about her. The Sanatam Kar, you can see her there on the far right with other 3HO people performing these artis with this Hindu pundit there in Rishikesh. And the SikhNet philosophical writer, Ekon Karkar, has said that these are inter-religious gatherings and they're okay. Well, that couldn't be farther from the truth. They're Hindu Vata practices, and they're involved in these things, and they shouldn't be. You can't just say that they're inter-religious gatherings. Sikhs should not be doing these and participating in these pujas. This is that Gurmukh, again, doing a Shiv Lingam puja. She even sponsored a puja in her parking lot in Hollywood, in her yoga student, and had that same pundit come. Now, Yogi Bhajan started all this with these pujas. He's there on the left, there in the black and white photo. This was back in the 1970s, doing a puja with a Swami that he invited to Los Angeles. And then the Yogi Bhajan people, of course, take off on his example. And there on the right, you can see how Gurmukh sponsored a completely Hindu wedding with Hindu wedding vows with 3HO people. And the same pundit, who was Yogi Bhajan's pundit there in Rishikesh. And then Yogi Bhajan had Hindu last rites administered to him after he died. And his family, this his wife Indrajit, and then his two sons and daughter and other 3HO people went to India and put some of his ashes there in the Ganges with the Hindu last rite ceremonies that this same Hindu Swami administered. And he's definitely part of the RSS. He's been pictured with the RSS chief giving him gifts. So this article was published on Sikh News Network about this Hindu last rites being administered to Yogi Bhajan. And SikhNet has never acknowledged or tried to argue against it, but they've never acknowledged it. And then the Pramat Nikirtan Ashram, they published a newsletter when this happened, when the ashes were spread there. And then I found it on the internet. As soon as we published it, they took it down because they don't want Sikhs to know what's really happening there with the SikhNet people. There's a link to it, though. I saved it on this way back. So you can see how the Yogi Bhajan people bow at Yogi Bhajan's death place. They bow to this Siri Chand idol. They do many of these forbidden Hindu Vata practices and these Tantric yogas. This is a picture from the 1970s, how they practice this Tantric yoga. Completely against Sikh teachings. Again, this Yogi Amandeep Singh, he leads these groups over there and leads them into these un-Sikh-like practices. It's just completely bad and wrong. Anyway, so let's write SikhNet, let's write this Harijot and explain to him how he's mistranslating Gurbani, how he's mistranslated and misinterpreted by Gurdasji's writings, and he should stop doing that. I think anybody who donates to SikhNet should reconsider if you really want to be donating to them. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.